Welcome to this episode of The More You Know, a series of short videos produced by the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Service Area 13 partners. Service Area 13 consists of Berks, Lancaster, and Lebanon counties and is one of the 15 service areas across the Commonwealth that exist to provide long-term living information and resources for persons aged 60 and over, persons with a disability, veterans, family members, and caregivers. Hello, my name is Margie Degler Pizarro. I am your host for this series, and I am a geriatric and palliative care nurse practitioner who is passionate about advocating for abundant living and aging. The Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resources is a part of a nationwide initiative developed to take a seamless approach in the way that we assist seniors and adults with disabilities who need activities of daily living assistance. When you need long-term living information or assistance, call the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll-free hotline at 1-800-753-8827. Today, our Getting to Know episode is with local veteran administration directors. We are hosting today Ken Lebron from Berks VA, as well as Jody Barone from Lancaster VA. Thank you so much, both of you, for being my host today on The More You Know. There's so much information, as we were talking about before we started recording, that people do need to know who are eligible to receive veteran services. And so, Ken, if you would you start off and share the information that you would like the folks watching this to know about?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Margie, for having us. And Jody and I are just so excited to be here. We know that we've got to cram in a lot of information that we have for our viewers in a very short period of time. So we're going to do the best that we can do to be as concise as we can regarding the information that we have and we want to present to you. So Jody and I are both directors for our county level VA offices. Across the state of Pennsylvania, there are 67 counties just like ours. As Jody has mentioned, if she's ever got an issue in a county, she knows where to go to get help. So we work together as a team, as a partnership to coordinate and advocate on behalf of veterans and their dependents who are entitled to VA benefits at the three governmental levels of the VA. So I'm going to just share my screen so that everyone can see what the three governmental levels of VA are, and some of the benefits at each of the levels. So since this is a form that I put together, it shows Berks County as the governmental level for benefits. And what's important to note for veterans and for our clients, our constituents, is that our office serves as advocates. We're funded by county taxpayer dollars. So if there's ever a federal government shutdown, our office continues to operate. But what's also important to note as well is that our office does not make the decision on decisions the VA makes, whether to approve or to deny VA benefits. That's usually coming from the federal or state level. So just scrolling down, you can just see a whole host of benefits that are offered at the three governmental levels, federal, state, and local. And what's also important to mention about the state level VA is that they give us our training. So we receive our credentialing as county veteran service officers to advocate on behalf of veterans, and that comes from the Pennsylvania Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. So today I'm going to be talking very briefly about disability compensation. Jody's going to talk about pension, and we'll take it from there. So compensation is more accurately known as service-connected disability benefits through the VA. So if a veteran incurs an injury in the line of active duty service, they may be entitled to compensation benefits based on the level of that disability, and that monetary benefit gets paid out monthly and is a tax-free benefit. So whenever I have a veteran or a family member who asks me, am I entitled to VA compensation, or is my family member, my neighbor entitled to compensation? What I will ask them in order to get the information out from them that I need is, do you have any aches, pains, illnesses, or injuries, either physical or psychological, that are a direct result of your active duty military service? And do those disabilities still affect you today? When I ask that question, that starts to solicit some of the responses and some of the answers that I'm looking for in order to begin filing a claim for compensation to the VA. Again, that's to the federal VA. We start with intent to file. We start with a 526EZ form, and that form gets sent into the VA, and the VA begins to adjudicate on that claim. They start to conduct their due diligence, gather as much evidence and information as possible on that claim before they make a decision to approve or to deny a claim for compensation for a veteran. Now, if they approve it, they'll give a rating of disability for each individual item that is service connected. And then they combine all those ratings. And then there's a combined rating total of disabilities in which the VA pays the veteran monthly for. If the VA denies service connection for a claim condition, they must explain why they made that denial in writing, notification letter to the veteran. And I always let the veterans know that it is their right to appeal any VA decision that the VA issues. So if they are not satisfied with a VA decision, they can talk to us about their rights to appeal that decision. So in a nutshell, VA compensation is a service-connected disability benefit. It is not based on income. So it doesn't matter how much money or how little money a veteran has, if they're entitled to it, they are entitled to that benefit. I'm going to turn it over now to Jody, who's going to talk briefly about VA pension benefits.
Ken, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. And Jody Barone from Lancaster, thank you for speaking to us about the next section.
Thank you, Margie. Thanks for having us on. So Ken just did a very good transition into the next part, where he said that service-connected disability is not needs-based and is not based on income. What I'm here to discuss about is called the pension program, and it is needs-based. It's not only income-based, but also care-based. So there's three different types. There's the straight pension, which is for wartime period veterans and their spouses who make under a certain amount of money. And there's some other eligibility requirements. We encourage everyone to give our offices a call because there's so much information that it's just easier to call us, and we can walk anyone through the eligibility process as well as do the forms for them. But so the straight pension is just based on income. If you make under a certain amount of money and you were a wartime period veteran or the spouse of a wartime period veteran, you could be eligible for that. The second one is housebound. So under the pension program, the housebound means that basically you are confined to your home. Medically speaking, you are not able to leave your home. You don't necessarily have to have people coming in and helping you with ADLs at that point. You don't necessarily have to have that, but again, it's needs-based. So you have to meet certain eligibility requirements as far as net worth. And then the biggest one, and there's some caveats to this as well, is called aid in attendance. So what aid in attendance as a pension program is, it's basically saying you cannot live without the aid and attendance of another individual. So think of ADLs, activities of daily living, toileting, transferring, bathing, taking care of yourself. Those type of things also are part of the needs-based idea of this programming. So you must be getting help with ADLs. You must be paying for those ADL assistance, and also have to meet the basic requirements as far as net worth goes. One thing that I want to touch on, and there's so much information behind aid in attendance that it can't be covered it's barely covered in an hour presentation. but I want everyone to know where to go to answer some questions. Although va.gov is a wealth of information, it doesn't hit a lot of specifics that are requirements. So your county VA offices, mine here in Lancaster and Berks, Ken's office in Berks, we have the information that you'll need. Just give us a call so we can walk you through it. There's another thing that I wanted to touch base on too, that is common thinking in Veterans Affairs world, that it's for veterans, but the pension benefit is also available to the widow. So in his second inaugural address in 1865, Abraham Lincoln essentially created the VA by affirming that it's the federal government's responsibility to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. What people don't think about is that the widow also is eligible for some of these pension benefits, even if the veteran is deceased. So in all cases, please call your county VA office, and they will walk you through every part of the entire process to include whether or not you're eligible and what forms to fill out and what we need to help you get this benefit.
And what I've found in the past too, we talk about widows being eligible for this. What people don't even think about is sometimes the widower is. In my situation, both of my parents were in the military, but my mom was only in the military during active wartime. And so when my dad gets to the point where he's going to need these types of benefits because of the fact that my mom, who passed away many years ago, was active during wartime, he, as the widower, will be able to ascertain these benefits.
You're absolutely right, Margie. And we use these terms as general neutral. What the transition is moving forward is more that the spouse, because so many, especially currently in Afghanistan and Iraq, there's so many women serving, and it has transferred between what it used to be in World War II, where it was primarily the husband and the wife stayed home to care for the children. Now we see that just completely changed around. So a loose term would be spouse, and the spouse is eligible, the spouse of a either currently or deceased veteran of any wartime period.
And interestingly enough, we're working through so many war times right now, from World War II all the way to current.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay. Thank you so very much, both of you. So Ken Lebron, Berks VA, Jodi C. Barone, Lancaster VA. If one of you would just speak to, we were talking about this before we started, how folks will talk with you these days because of COVID. Things are a little bit different in terms of how they reach you and how they'll talk with you. Would one of you like to share that as far as office hours and things?
Ken, you're muted.
I can get started if Jody doesn't mind. I'll take
Yeah, our offices are both so similar. So yeah, go ahead, Ken. Thank you.
Exactly. I just wanted to also reiterate too, the advocacy services that we provide in the county, as I'd mentioned, they're being them being tax funded by county taxpayer dollars, is that our services are essentially free. And it is against the law for anyone to charge a veteran or their dependent to apply for these benefits, because you don't have to. So our office is working remotely primarily, so we encourage individuals to call our office first. Our office number is 610-378-5601. We work via email, we work via social media, we work via scanning. And so if an individual does need to meet with us in the office, we have to make an appointment for a physical in-person meeting because we are discouraging walk-ins. If individuals come into our office, then they must wear a mask. They're temperature screened. There's a COVID questionnaire that we have to employ before they can sit down with us. We're social distance. We have a plexiglass screen. We have hand sanitizer. So we're doing everything to be as safe as we absolutely can if we have someone come into the office. But again, we discourage walk-ins, and we're working remotely to the best of our ability to continue to serve veterans with our advocacy services.
Okay, thank you for sharing that to help people understand what your current policies are. And of course, this is Service Area 13. So we have Berks, Lancaster, and Lebanon. Scott Kohr is the director for Lebanon VA. So everything that we've talked about in terms of Berks and Lancaster from both of you obviously apply for to the Lebanon area as well. And as
Yes.
always, the purpose for today's interview is to bring a renewed awareness of this nationwide, statewide, and local program to discuss in detail service providers such as VA, as well as anyone needing services or products to have a reliable, up-to-date source of information. And so to close, I just want to thank both of you so much for being my guest today. And as always, remember the 800 number. So my name is Margie Degler Pizarro, and I thank you for joining us today. Be well, and remember, when you need long-term information or assistance, even out of any of these three veterans offices, you can start by calling the PA Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll-free hotline at 1-800 753 8827, and you will be directed to the appropriate help for your needs. Thank you and be well.